righty, ladies, welcome to another episode of Rise and Chime. Today, we have the phenomenal Alysha M. Campbell, who is an HR leader, and she is also the creator of CultureShift HR. She's going to tell us more about what she does and also how the work that she does, contributes to her overall sense of fulfillment today. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Question number one, what is something that you've learned about yourself during this downtime?
Oh, Rosalind, that's a great question. I would say for me is that I'm very flexible. And when I say that I'm flexible is that whenever I'm really presented with a situation, I always try to find a solution for it. So for example, going into 2019, I had really big plans for my consultancy, CultureShift HR. I wanted to double in number, wanted to hire my staff, and I really wanted to start to become a well-known entity within the HR consultancy space.
Mhm.
And so when that really started to get off the ground in early 2019, and then COVID hit, a lot of my clients and potential leads that I had were like, you know what, unfortunately, we're gonna have to pump the brakes. No one knew the extent of what COVID was. All budgets got frozen. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean for me? Like, my business isn't going to die within COVID. I just made that promise to myself that I was going to push along and somehow figure that out. And so what I decided to do, or actually an opportunity was presented to me where a colleague of mine reached out and said, hey, Alysha, do you do career coaching? You know, there's a lot of people getting affected by COVID, getting laid off. They don't know how to start their job search, or they want to do something different. And they don't know where to start. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I really had to take a step back, because when I started CultureShift HR, my intention was not to do, B2C. So I wasn't going to do one-to-one coaching, maybe some group stuff, but that was never my ideal audience. Not that I couldn't service that community, but my vision was always to do B2B. And so when I started to do career coaching and I saw the need and I saw it really take off, I was just like, this is something. I literally built a new arm of CultureShift HR within a month of launching my career coaching program. And just to see how it fulfilled so many needs, I was making so many.
Uh-oh, we froze up a little bit.
There we go. Is that all right?
Yeah, okay, we're back now. That's perfect.
Okay. And so it was really great to see how that area of my business not only was able to continue to grow, but it was able to help other people too, which to me is always the most important thing with whatever initiatives that I'm involved in. So that's been my biggest takeaway since the lockdown, is that being versatile, being flexible, and just being open to new doors that become available to you, because they could come in ways that you never thought could be possible.
Yes. And I love it that you said that there are so many opportunities and doors that will open up, that you don't think are possible. And I think that, like you said, just being open to that and being agile and flexible, that's super important, especially in a time right now where everything is so unpredictable. There's
Yes.
some factors that we can control and there are others that we can't. But as long as we focus on the things that we can control, and make the best of those, I think that everything aligns in the end. And so just keeping that at our forefront. So tell me more about your journey to actually becoming an HR leader.
Yes. It's funny because 10 years ago, if you told me I would be in HR, I would probably laugh, because that is not actually even what I went to school for. I actually went to
Really?
school. Yeah. I actually went to school to be an accountant. And it was in, 2011, and I graduated, and I was like, out on the job hunt, trying to find something. And that something just never came. So I went to a recruitment firm for them to help me find a job, maybe open up a door for me. And they actually left with a job offer. They
That's
were like,
awesome.
we think you'd be a great recruiter. You're very personable. People like you. Do you want a job here? And at first in my head, my thought was no. It's like, I didn't just spend 4 years of college to be a recruiter. Like, I should be an accountant. That's what I have my specialty in. But similar to my style and similar to kind of how, things just kind of have been unfolding in my life, especially around CultureShift HR, is that again, an opportunity presented itself that I was like, you know what, let me explore this. Let me see what can happen. At the end of the day, it's a job. It doesn't hurt to start getting some experience while I continue to learn elsewhere. And I never left that industry. I love recruiting. I love the ability to help people get into jobs, get into careers, find fulfillment in their 9 to 5, either through, advancement, getting more salary, me, getting promoted. Like it just allowed them to live a life that they had always envisioned for themselves. And I felt so good being that bridge for them to achieve that. And so as I grew in recruitment, I was like, I want more. Like
Mm,
because after you place the candidate, you don't see them anymore. You don't talk to them, and I
yeah.
don't know what happens after. So it's like, okay, well, how do I continue to be a part of the employee life cycle? And so
Mhm.
I realized I do want to be more in that employee facing role where I'm not only bringing them into the company, but I'm helping them have a great employee experience. I'm dealing with culture initiatives. I'm creating a system that allows them to be successful.
Yeah.
So I, pivoted my career to opportunities that were more of a blend of recruitment and HR. And then as I got more and more experience, I more so shedded the traditional recruitment element of my positions and focused purely on the employee experience. And so with that, that's what stemmed me to start CultureShift HR, because
Mhm.
I was at a place in my career where I wanted to do HR better. I'm like, HR is meant to fulfill a need, not only to the employee, but to the company as well. And where I was working at the time, it just wasn't happening that way. And I just felt frustrated. I felt stuck. And I was like, if I can't do HR the way I envision here, then I'm going to go and create that space for myself.
Yes.
And that literally was what birthed Culture Shift HR. And it's been 2 years in the making. And it's just been
Congratulations. That's awesome.
thank, thank you. And it's been incredible. Just the reception and collaborating with brands and businesses and helping making more effective and more inclusive work environments has just been such an incredible experience. So I definitely don't regret any decision about starting Culture Shift. It's been something that I feel it's been inside of me for a long time, but I was always so scared to get it off the ground. And then when came to shove, it had to come out, and there it was.
That is awesome. That is phenomenal. So one thing that you brought up, and it's kind of a question off of the list, but you brought up trying wanting to be a part of the employee cycle outside of just getting them the job, but like the things that happen afterwards. So what are some of the things that you do with your clients as far as like fostering relationships even after they get their positions?
Yeah. So the biggest thing that I focus on with my clients is making sure that they are creating a value-based culture that is led with leadership that is empathetic, transparent, and open. And so what that really involves at the core is really working with the leadership, because culture is made up of all employees, but the tone is always set at the top. If there's bad
Yeah.
behavior at the top, it's going to leak down through the rest of the levels of the company. So my focus is really at the leadership level, where say they're not performing, like the organization isn't performing well, or maybe there's a culture problem where people are leaving, there's high turnover,
Mhm.
maybe they can't keep employees after a year. Whatever that symptom is of bad culture, I come and I talk to the leadership about what the core of that issue is, what is the root of it. And so whether it's through surveys, whether it's through interviews, whether it's through understanding their processes, and a mix of all those things, I present to them to say, okay, this is what the real problem is, this is what you're actually combating, this is the issue, and you're trying to cover up the band-aids on the solution, on the
Mhm.
effects of it, which isn't what's going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
And so through that, I then help them to deconstruct their current culture and rebuild it from scratch
Mhm.
on values and core attributes that really ring true to who the individuals are at the organization. And not only that, but then the employees feel that they now work at a culture and a
Mhm.
company that they belong in and that they can feel successful in. So that can look from like employee programs, that could look like diversity and inclusion, that could look at a high performance framework for employees that are going and moving into leadership roles. Like
Mhm.
all those elements that go into supporting an employee, I create those and make those come alive for my clients.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Not only does it seem like, you know, um, that you're helping like the leadership and from the top, all the way down, it's like you're individualizing a lot of
Hmm.
it too, which is awesome, because there's not a one size fits all, especially when you're dealing with people. We're all
Yeah.
completely different. We all have our own spin on things. And so the fact that you take your time and, get to learn who these people are, get to know the company values, get to know the employees, like you said, through different mediums, surveys or in-person discussions, whatever it is, gathering your data and you're doing your research. And then from there, creating a plan or giving expertise based upon, what you know about the companies. I think that's really nice. And I think that says a lot about you and your business as well. So what is your vision for Culture Shift HR?
I would love to grow Culture Shifts to be, like an HR and innovation brand that really puts people first.
Mm,
That's my one true attribute about myself, is that your employees, in my opinion, come before your clients. Because
mhm,
if you can deliver and create an environment and culture where there's trust, transparency, and openness,
mhm.
you are giving a safe space for your employees to take risks and thrive within that environment. So when they have that ability to do that, they're going to go above and beyond for your business, which is in turn going to go above and beyond for your clients. So that's where you build loyalty, that's where you build great customer relationships, and that's where you start to build a brand in the industry of great customer service. And so I want Culture Shift HR to be known for that. I want everyone that I employ to, one, feel that way about working with Culture Shift as an employee, but also embody those values as they then work with the clients that, want to partner with us. And so I could see us being, I would say a medium sized consultancy firm where we have different areas of the brand. So maybe we do B2B, then we have a B2C arm, and then maybe we have some online coaching elements to our programs as well. And I'm a very big believer in that everybody that works for my company brings something different and unique to the table.
Yes.
And I want, in turn, to make my employees feel successful and be successful in their own way. So yes, you're working for Culture Shift HR today, but maybe you have a dream of being a chef. Maybe you want to start your own business. Let me help you achieve those dreams and those goals too, because you're not just my employee. That's one piece of who you are. You're a whole faceted individual. So let me help you discover that for you, with you, and make that come true. I think as an employer, I have a bit of a responsibility to ensure that you're getting fulfilled in just more than coming and being an employee. There's so much more to an individual than a job. And I think it's important that they are able to bring their true selves to work and be able to discover that.
I absolutely love everything that you just said. The fact that you are so invested in your employees, not just as employees, but who they are as individuals, their personal interests. It's like a holistic perspective. And I think that that's something that needs to be discussed more. I feel like even spoke a little bit about transitioning. So people who are interested in different things, so they want to pursue, if they want to go into culinary arts, they want to pursue becoming a chef or these other things, just really having these conversations around like the fact that we don't have to be so stagnant in the things that we're doing. We are multifaceted. We can do so many different things. And that leads me to my next question. So, what are some tips that you would give to women who are seeking to transition into new roles at this time? As you said, we're very multifaceted. We don't have to be stagnant in the things that we're doing. There are a lot of different things that we're interested in. So, for that woman who is trying to step out into something different, into a new role, what advice would you give to her right now?
Yeah, I would say take some time to discover what that is for you. Do some self reflection, figure out what is it that you enjoy, what is it that you're seeking, what area of fulfillment in your life are you looking to make bigger, better for yourself? That is where, at the core, where a lot of people who want to pivot or change their career or add a new element to their life, they kind of fall short. They don't take the time to do the work in the beginning to really clearly identify what that looks like for them. And then they start to go down this path and realize, wait, this isn't what I wanted either. And they're constantly in this cycle of what do I want, what don't I want, and not kind of fulfilling it to the very end. So I would say do the work up front. There are tons of great resources online about, asking yourself powerful questions, creating, guidelines of what you envision your dream life being. What does your ideal world look like, or your dream job? And starting to characterize and bring to life what that looks like for you. Because once you can make it tangible in your mind, finding it in the real world is that much easier.
Yeah.
So it's really finding that definition around what is it that I'm looking for and what does that really look like for me. So
Mhm.
for example, say you want to create another stream of income.
Mhm.
Okay, great, that's wonderful, but what do you want to be doing with what do you want to be doing in your time to create that stream of income? Because if you hate what you're doing and then you're doing more and more to get more money, you're not going to do it for very long because you don't enjoy, say creating, craft jewelry, but it's a skill
Mhm.
that you have. So maybe take some time to say, okay, what's a skill that I would want to acquire, that I want to be better at, that I can monetize, and then make that my second stream of income. So yes, it may not be something that you can maybe do right this second, but maybe you could do an online course. Maybe you can,
Mm.
talk to a friend and get her or him to kind of show you the ropes of, something that you're looking to learn and get better at. And then from there, kind of continue on your business journey. But I would say really figure out what it is that is going to make you shine and make you
Mhm.
smile, because there's, as with any business owner will tell you, there's ebbs and flows to this.
Yeah.
So in the bad and the good, you still have to push through. And so your why for doing this needs to be strong enough to continue to motivate you and push you so that you're going to keep going.
That is awesome. That is, and I think that that's the exploration phase. It's really, I feel like in the 20s, 30s,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like we're in a different age now. Like when I think back to like my parents' generation, when they were 20 or late 20s, they got into their careers and they stayed there. And so now, we're seeing professionals who are coming out and, we went to school, like you said, we've been to school for 4+ years, and it's like, okay, I want to go to pursue a career in, the field that I studied for. And then we get here and then we start questioning, what's next. And it's almost like, well, do I reach out to somebody and say that I'm, trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure this out, or do I just stick with what I'm doing for the sake of just doing it just to do it? It's like this weird phase that I'm really in even right now. So I think that it's really good that you said to do the career exploration, but also, just having the tools that you need there, because even like you spoke about, think about your strengths and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do in the meantime when you're talking about creating this new source of income? I think that that's really important too during this exploration phase, to just kind of have something in the back of your head, things that you can do really well that can help you during the transition. So
Absolutely.
what are some of your personal or professional interests outside of the work that you do in HR?
Yes, that's a great question. I'm actually a singer and songwriter.
That's awesome.
Yes, I recently, about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I used to have my own band. We were a jazz fusion band called Mindful Audacity, where back in where I'm originally from, which is from Toronto. And so we had created our own, EP demo. We gigged around the city for about a year, which was awesome. And having that tangible element of like a CD in your hand with like your photos and your songs and all of that was just an incredible experience. We actually also did a radio campaign where we got on the jazz charts in British Columbia twice, the top 10.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
really, really awesome experience. Life got crazy. I had to take a little bit of a sidestep, but that is a passion of mine and something that I'm hoping to return to very soon.
That is so awesome. I'm glad that you said that's something that you think that you may return to, because I think that's really important to pursue those interests, even though, it may not be your 9 to 5 or your main source of income, but to continue
Mm-hmm.
to do the things that you love to do. So what does fulfillment look like for you today?
Mm-hmm. Fulfillment for me is really trying to find balance, because I've realized very early on in my career that I'm not balanced. So for example, I'm a workaholic. I will get up early, stay late. I can work around the clock. Like I'm just go, go, go. But that creates a big imbalance in my life where I'm balancing family, friends, my health, my mental well-being, and that isn't good either. So I'm really trying to continuing to grow my business and continuing to push ahead and make strides, but I'm also trying to remember and actually take the action to take care of myself. So for example, I now get up in the morning and I'll go for a run, or I'll do a yoga before I go to bed. And I eat, I'm trying to eat really, really good so that I can have, those sweet treats on the weekend, and it's not every single day. So for me, my definition of fulfillment continues to change and evolve, but I would say I'm at a state where I'm really trying to create a sense of balance within my life, and not let one area or the other kind of take over and dominate.
I love that. So and one thing that you said that was really, something that I say all the time, fulfillment it does continue to evolve, because what may
Hmm.
fill you up right now may not fill you, in the next couple of years and things like that. So once again, I think it goes back to that point that we said earlier about being flexible,
Hmm.
and opening your mind to different things. And, just because something fulfilled you yesterday doesn't mean it's going to fulfill you, the next day or whatever like that. So I think that that's really awesome that you already have that mindset. So how does the work that you do as an HR leader, as the owner of CultureShift HR, and then within your interests and who you are, how does all of that come together to add to your overall sense of fulfillment today?
Yes, I would say that the way that it all comes together is that I'm only doing things, or I'm really trying to invest my time and energy into things that matter to me. And the way that I identify that it matters is that, does it align with my own personal values? It does it align with the actions that I want others, what that I want to see in others? Am I putting out the energy and the actions that I want to be reciprocated back to when it's my turn to receive that type of service? So I really focus my energies and my business and my plans around that, so that whatever that I'm doing, even if I'm deadbeat tired, or even if it's been a really long week but I know I need to send out an email, that kind of hidden driving motivation behind everything is like, I know that I'm doing the right thing. I
Mhm.
know that me, pushing that extra little mile is going to be worth it in the end, because I know that what I'm going to put back out there is going to come back to me tenfold. So for me, the fact that I get to do what I love to do, and I get to connect with people, and I create an experience for people that allows them to feel valued and allows them to feel listened and cared for in a way that they may not be getting in other places, makes me so content knowing that they had that experience with me, and that may be the first of experiences that they've ever had before. And so to me, that's my brand coming to life, and that's culture shift being manifested in people's lives in a way that is most meaningful to them. And so that's how I make it all come together. And I feel like it's a bit twofold. I'm serving people, but also by doing the work, I'm also serving myself and
Yes.
feeding myself in the process. So it took me a long time to get there. This was by no means an overnight bam, it happened. Like, it was a lot of bumpy roads, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of stop, go, stop, go. But if I've learned anything in my 10 years as an HR leader, is that when you continue to pursue something that you love, your gift will make room for you. So
Yes.
whoever's listening, continue to push, continue to dream, continue to make those strides, because it will come full circle.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you so much again, Alysha, for coming on and sharing your journey with us, and also sharing how it's contributing to your overall sense of fulfillment today. I thank everyone who has watched, and I hope that you all tune in for another episode of Rise and Chime. And remember, keep shining, sis.